arthroscopic anterior stabilisation of the shoulder using a percutaneous knotless technique. In this right shoulder, positioned in the lateral decubitus position, the anterior labral tear can clearly be seen on diagnostic arthroscopy. The rest of the shoulder is examined for evidence of posterior labral tears, superior labral tears, and for the presence of a Hill-Sachs lesion or rotator cuff pathology. A primary anterior portal is created in the rotator interval. A Bankart elevator instrument is used to raise the anterior labrum from the glenoid. This procedure is continued until the labrum is free and the subscapularis tendon can be seen underneath. A shaver is then used to remove any scar tissue and to debride the face of the glenoid down to a bleeding surface. A suture passer is introduced through the same anterior portal and passed through the capsule behind the labrum in the 5 to 6 o'clock position. Once the end of the passer can be seen, the nitinol loop is delivered into the joint. This loop is then retrieved from an accessory portal made high in the rotator interval. A Suturetape suture is loaded into the loop and the nitinol wire is withdrawn from the anterior portal. To manage the sutures, the anterior limb is withdrawn through the accessory portal. Both limbs are then withdrawn at the same time through the primary anterior portal. The 2.9mm Pushlock drill guide is introduced through the same portal and placed in the 5 o'clock position on the glenoid face. A 2.9mm hole is drilled in the anterior glenoid. The pushlock anchor is loaded onto the sutures and can then be simply railroaded into the joint. Once the desired tension has been achieved, the anchor is simply driven home with a small mallet. Once the anchor is seated, the driver is removed and the sutures are cut flush. The whole process can then be repeated with as many sutures as is necessary to complete the repair. As before, the suture passer is delivered from the anterior portal and the nitinol loop passed into the joint. The loop is then retrieved from the accessory portal. The Suturetape suture is loaded onto the loop and the nitinol wire withdrawn from the anterior portal. The anterior limb is retrieved through the accessory portal. Both limbs are then retrieved at the same time through the primary anterior portal. The drill guide is introduced through the anterior portal and placed on the glenoid face, remembering that on this occasion it is not possible to obtain any capsular shift as the capsule and labrum have already been secured by the first anchor. The hole is drilled using the guide and the pushlock anchor is loaded onto the sutures outside the body. The anchor is then railroaded down the sutures and the appropriate tension obtained. The anchor is then driven home until the laser line is below the level of the articular cartilage. The anchor driver is removed and the sutures are cut flush. The repair can then be inspected, and in this case it was felt that no further anchors needed to be inserted.